you do get kind of numb to it, you know.
Yeah.
Like I haven't gone to like a car show since I've been here, because it's like every day I see it, so I don't want to go out on a Sunday to go see it. But
today we're at Ferrari. All right, guys, I'm still in Virginia. I'm on the East Coast. Today we got Jerry. Thank you
how you doing?
so much.
No
I'm
problem.
doing really good.
No problem.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So we're at Ferrari.
So I was a Maserati tech for probably a couple months. A spot opened up on the other side of the shop that we'll go to later, and you know, transferred over, and it was, yeah.
Oh, so this is a Maserati and Ferrari.
This is a Maserati and Ferrari.
Okay.
They used to be owned under the same umbrella. They're no longer owned by the same companies, but the soul is still kind of there on both brands. Like that right behind us, that the Gran Turismo, the blue one with the convertible.
Okay.
Underneath, it has a lot of the same Ferrari electronics and stuff.
Oh, really?
So when I was brought over here as a Maserati tech, you kind of learn on those first, and then you kind of venture into the Ferrari stuff. Yeah.
What did you do before coming here?
Before that, it was Honda mostly. Honda and Acura, working on, you know, Type Rs and SXs and stuff like that. So
I see a nice big Epic behind you.
Yep, it was my baby. I pieced it together throughout the years.
I always figured Ferrari would have like built-in or like provided boxes.
Yeah, I mean, some dealers do. It's up to the dealer. I have a built-in on the other side of the shop that we'll go to in a little bit.
Right on.
And I'll show you that work area. In the hutch, I basically just have my computer, anything that I like to keep everything here open. So when I'm building stuff or doing, like, you know, whatever, I can just use the surface area. Back here I have mostly my tall Allens and Torx. Battery tester here, a little refrigerator for, you know, a Coca-Cola or something like that. But yeah, I try to keep it simple.
Yeah.
You know, not too much clutter.
Get some usable space.
Yeah, yeah,
that's
definitely.
Cool. And I see like your shop, they just have like regular lifts in here?
Yeah, we have regular two posts on this side. Originally, so this dealer's from the 90s. We had a race team. It's called Ferrari Challenge, and it used to be ran out of this side of the dealership. Since then, we have now a whole separate shop for that in another location. So these lifts, when they were originally doing the race stuff, they were more, I guess, appropriate for the race stuff.
I see. Okay.
Whereas the scissor lifts that we have over there, which are the in-ground ones, you can't really drop fuel tanks as easily, and because the whole thing is in the way.
Yeah.
That's why this one.
Gotcha.
Fun fact, actually, when you work on a LaFerrari or something, we actually use the two posts because it's the only way we can really get to the lifting points. You can't use like the drive-on style lifts. Yeah.
Yeah, these are pretty low.
Yeah, they're pretty low, which is funny because as expensive as the cars are, we still use the good old wood and
trusty.
yeah, trusty. But we do have some race ramps.
You know,
so top drawer. I used to have a lot of stuff in here that has now been moved over, but pretty much going left from right. In the back here, I have twist sockets. A lot of these sets are kind of missing because I've either taken them home or I've taken them to the other work area.
Oh, gotcha.
So
is a lot of this stuff kind of like leftover stuff?
Yeah, it's pretty much leftover stuff that I don't use all the time.
I see. Okay.
You know, with the brands I work on now, we use mostly Allens. So a lot of my just your regular metric sets and stuff have stayed behind here, but you know, I don't really need it over in the other side. And then here I have a pretty much a mobile kind of kit. Sometimes we do get house calls. You don't want to jumpstart one of these. Can't jumpstart this one because it's a hybrid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but if we do have a service call and let's say this one's dead and you know we get called out, I'll just take one of these. Or you know, my uncle calls me, hey, my car's broken, so I'll just bring this over. But I usually keep it here instead of the car or something like that, just because if I am here, I can just grab something really easily and I know where it goes. Whereas this is kind of just a mumbled mess.
I see. Okay.
This one
what is that?
Is a Lamborghini center wheel lock removal tool.
Whoa.
It's very similar to the Porsche one. If not, it's probably the same.
That's the ones where there's just like
one big old nut holding that wheel on. So this one's specific to Lamborghini, but we do have the one for the Ferrari one somewhere around. And I use a good old like 36-inch breaker bar. This one's a 1/2 inch. I usually put on the adapter because it's a 3/4 socket.
Okay.
Yeah, my wrench drawer. So I guess these are just line wrenches pretty easily. These are just some bleeding type wrenches that I liked back in my Honda days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't use stuff like this?
Yeah, not really. I haven't really touched anything back here in probably a couple months.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, so this really is just like excess.
Yeah, it's just excess stuff. I'll show you later what I use all the time. But yeah, this is all pretty much just extra stuff I have lying around. Like I said, when I'm working on, my brother-in-law's Nissan, for example, or something, then I'll be using these. Just people saying that us Ferrari guys use nothing but Snap-on in the best. I'm using Pittsburgh on some stuff, all right? Actually, my favorite to bleed brakes on these is a 11mm Pittsburgh wrench, because it just gets in there really nice. And I've tried using, with the Snap-on, you have that flank drive. Sometimes it'll mar the, because it bites into the nut or the bolt. And we try to avoid that. So, if we use a regular style wrench, it helps out. Over here, I used to cut rotors back in my Honda days. So this is like the kit to be able to like bolt on the adapters and stuff like that. We don't cut here anymore. If anything, it's really rare we even replace rotors. It's very rare.
You say it's rare to replace rotors?
Yeah, so these are carbon ceramic rotors. Essentially, they don't really wear as fast as like a normal street use.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The only way you'll really wear those down is if you track your car a lot. Get a lot of that heat in there. Like I said, it's very rare. The owners of these cars, mostly, they're buying the art. They're not really buying it for the performance.
Gotcha.
Some guys do, though. Some guys really do track their cars hard and really use it. And in which case we do occasionally replace the brakes, but it's also very expensive.
Oh, really?
I think, we're talking upwards of like 30 or 50 grand, around there.
Holy crap.
So it can get expensive real fast. Same with the wheels. That's a carbon fiber wheel. Just a set of these is over $100,000. So,
oh my goodness.
And while we're here, they come with we have to take them off during our PDI, but they come with covers because they don't want them to scrape during shipping.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
And they use for good like kneeling pads. Up there in my locker, you'll see I have a few already.
Oh yeah.
So that way we don't have to spend so much. We get a lot of foam. So
yeah.
Then I have my pretty much my screwdriver kind of drawer over here. Just I do like the gunmetal stuff.
Nice.
Try to keep it matching, but obviously green handles, red handles. It's all over the place. But yeah, I do like the Matco screwdriver set. It has like this felt kind of grip. Obviously when you're oily and stuff, it makes it easier to grab.
Nice.
Panel poppers. I don't know why, but I've tried other brands. I think I have a Matco one in here somewhere, but these, they feel right.
Do they?
It's a little weird, yeah. Huh. So I have multiple sets of these actually, yeah. Picks, a lot of picks too.
Awesome.
Second drawer is just some bits. Again, a lot of this is now empty space. More picks over here. This is an extractor set. I use it occasionally, but haven't really had a chance to in the past couple years, to be honest.
Kind of interesting because, like, I guess Virginia is considered Rust Belt territory.
Yeah.
I guess you probably don't get much.
It's the cars I've worked on. So like, my background is Honda, and now this. So I haven't seen a lot of the rust.
Oh, okay.
Now with I have buddies at Toyota and buddies who work on like Mopar stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, their metals I guess are made a little differently, but yeah, they send me some videos sometimes and stuff they're doing. And, they bring out the torch and stuff. But yeah, I've been lucky enough. I haven't ran into too many times. I've had to extract bolts and stuff. But yeah, I guess I'm lucky. I haven't ran too much into the rust. Down here are some spare parts. This is for my Honda guys. VTEC actuators, or VTC actuators, sorry. Some TPMS sensors, sometimes the cars, we'll have the parts and the cars are sold and we'll never see them again, and
Really?
we still have the parts. We're like, what do we do? Just keep it. It's already been built.
Yeah.
You know? So
Well, you can't like throw it away.
no, we can't throw it away. I'll keep them just in case somebody needs it. Clutch alignment tool for, I think, a K series. I work on a lot of Hondas. Even to this day, I still bring in an occasional Type R every once in a while. I really specialize with what I know, which would be, you know, the Type R's, because I owned one, so I got introduced into the local community here, and then people started coming to me for all their stuff.
That's
so
cool.
I do a lot of that, and then I just finished a buddy's TSX, put a 4-piston K block in there, and
What?
I did motor mounts, like I did the whole spiel, you know, the whole build.
In a TSX?
In a TSX,
That's
yeah.
wild.
So I do love my Honda stuff, man. You know,
Love that.
another drawer, pretty much my pliers. This one's a new set I got not too long ago, again matching with the gunmetal or the titanium.
Yeah, I like that color.
I do like their pliers. The snap-on pliers always, they grip well. Then I got the snap ring plier set. These have come in handy multiple times. This one I just warrantied out. I don't know if anybody else has had the issue of this like breaking down over here near this, I guess it's a rivet. It broke on me when I was working on a Tundra.
Goodness.
And but I guess I was just really beating it. But other than that, I've used it a couple times since and it hasn't given me an issue.
So when you're fixing like wiring and stuff on Ferraris, do you typically solder or do you do the crimps?
No, we usually do crimps because solder changes resistance, and these computers are very specific on what kind of resistance they want to see. Soldering changes it a bit sometimes. We will do it. It's not like we don't. You know, if it's an easy circuit like a light bulb or something like that, we'll always consult with the factory, and they will more or less tell us, you know, how to do it. So you have hammers, some pry bars, big old pipe wrench. I left this on an alignment rack. It used to be a perfect tube, you know, and somebody was using the alignment rack and then properly, I guess the locks, he didn't know what he was doing, and the ramp tilted on this and like crushed it. And I was like, oh man, I really liked it. But so I just kept it and I've held on to it. And luckily, like one of my ratchets here will still fit in there, you know, perfectly fine.
Oh yeah.
And now this is kind of like flat, so I can really grab it. And I don't know, I just couldn't throw it away.
Yeah,
so,
like a little cheater bar.
That's it's a cheater bar. Going on down, I guess we start seeing some of my blow molded cases. A lot of this stuff is, you know, this is the coolant. I don't know if a lot of people have seen this set from Mishimoto.
I have never seen a single tool from Mishimoto.
Yeah,
so that's so cool.
I've had a really good, you know, they sell it for like $120 or so, I think the last time I checked.
That's not bad at all.
Whereas the Matco one, which looks really similar, is, you know, it's Matco price.
Yeah, so this hooks up to air though.
Yeah, this one will hook up to air.
Oh, you can do both.
Yeah, you can do both. Yeah.
That's cool.
It's awesome. I think it's a Puller set, if my memory serves right. I got it off of, I think this one's an Amazon set too.
Okay.
I see it occasionally. It's not like I work on trucks and stuff, but you know, I've had to use this for a couple control arms on a Maserati, and it worked perfectly well. Some torque wrenches, my old ones from, you know, Harbor Freight. This one is empty because I have the actual wrench somewhere else.
Okay.
This is a little empty right now. Most of my stuff is in the other area, but this is a spare 1/2-inch gun I have. Awesome. This is an air gun. We don't really use power tools as heavy. A lot of that isn't just because, you know, the tools you got to be careful with when you're working on the nuts and bolts of like a really expensive car, but it's really comes down to space. We just don't have the space sometimes when you're in that dash. I mean, you know, you're just barely able to grab it with your fingers. So, you know, a lot of the times we're not really using power tools. But the only thing is when we're putting on wheels, we don't use, you know, obviously these. Yeah, we usually, I'll use like a little gun, drive it in, then torque it down.
So I'm curious, they're talking about space and stuff.
Yeah.
Are you flat rate or do you?
Yeah, I am flat rate. The majority of, not only Ferrari or exotic techs, but the majority of technicians are flat rate, as I'm sure you're aware of. Yeah, I mean, it's a little hard because, you know, my only complaint is it's really hard to work flat rate in certain areas. So here in you know, the East Coast, we don't really have that much volume, you can say. Versus some of my buddies who work at the dealers in Miami or Los Angeles, of course, they get a whole ton of cars. You know?
For sure.
So that's the only way. Sometimes that flat rate isn't appropriate in some circumstances, but hopefully that we'll see as time goes on how that changes. We do all right for the most part. It's not like we're swimming in money. You know, it's not like I can show you my Ferrari that I drive here. You know, a lot of my family's like, so where's your Ferrari? You know, I'm like,
The only reason I ask is because people always want to know that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, they should. I mean, you can ask me anything how it is working on exotics and stuff, and I'll tell you the truth. You know,
Cool.
a lot of it is, you know, you think it's one way, but it really isn't until you go and start working there. You know, so like for instance, working on these, majority of the time you don't even have instructions. You know, with Honda, I was used to having IN, and I could go in there and look at how to do a certain procedure and stuff.
Oh, you don't have anything?
You don't really have support.
Really?
I can only speak, of course, for Ferrari, but you don't have that kind of support because it is ran like a race team. The company itself is only ran by a small handful of people. Honda used to have, I don't know how many tech support guys you could just call, and they would call you back in an hour with the answer and all that.
Like engineers.
Ferrari, there's only a couple, like less than 5 in this side of the world that they are helping us diagnose and stuff like that.
Oh my goodness.
So there's differences like that. A lot of the times, like the tester, our scan tool, the official one, sometimes it's acting a little weird.
Really?
You got to diagnose the tester before you diagnose the car. Yeah, I mean, there's small stuff like that. But, you know, again, it's not repetitive. So every car that I work on is always a different challenge, which is what the number one reason why I joined was because I just didn't want to be repetitive and doing piston rings on Odysseys all the time or, you know, all that. So not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just that personally I wanted to learn more and branch out. So
that's really cool.
Feel free to ask me anything, you know, I won't sugarcoat it. You know? But, you know, there's pros and cons to anything.
Sure.
So, it's just, this is where I used to put my wallet back in the day, and just not really much going on in here. Going one down though is where I used to have a lot of my, well, I still do, is my trim tools for, you know, interior work. Touch-up paint for when I was working on Hondas, not so much using it on this, of course, but in the Honda days it came to be pretty useful.
So is it a lot of training? I have so many questions. Is it a lot of training to become like, because I feel like somebody that's looking at this from the outside, they'd say, well, I'm just working at Honda. I could never work, I get in? I could never work at Ferrari.
Yeah,
you know?
So it's, I hate to say it, it really is who you know. Not to say that you don't have a chance, but in this case, in my case, I knew somebody who recommended at the time the management here, and
cool.
I came over.
But you didn't have any other experience working on exotics?
Working on exotics, truthfully, no. I mean, other than those really nice Hondas I used to work on, no, I didn't. It's not like I was working on Lambos and stuff before I came here. To be honest, when you join, I can only, again, speak for Ferrari, is there's nothing shared on a Ferrari on another common car.
Oh, really?
Maybe the older ones, are, you know, you've seen the videos on YouTube of like, oh, this throttle body from a Ford goes on a Murcielago.
Yeah, sure.
You know, you're not going to see that really with this brand, especially the new cars. Anything 10 years or newer.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's its own thing. So even if you did have, because we had my coworkers who come from different brands, they all agree, like, you can't really prepare when you join, you know, this brand.
So there's not like an R8 and Gallardo.
Yeah, it's not that kind of like same power plant. No, it's only, the only thing relatable is the Maserati thing, where the older Maseratis shared the V8, the same V8 and stuff. But go for it. Yeah. I would only recommend that even if they don't have a list, like a job posting, just email the service manager. You know, there are dealerships that have apprentices and stuff like that, and that you can learn relatively well in those kind of programs. Of course, really cool. If you go to UTI or anything like that, I'm sure that'd be useful. I didn't in my case.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
Nah,
so it's just all experience.
Just all experience before I came here.
I always recommend. I don't want to like not recommend school. Yeah. But like, man, if you really want to learn fast,
it's experience
like,
sure.
You get in there. It's gotta be a joy to come to work every day.
And we have our down days too. You know, like, oh, I got to do this today. Like, you know, but yeah, for the most part, I'm pretty happy every time I come in, and you do get kind of numb to it. You know, like I haven't gone to like a car show and since I've been here, because it's like every day I see it, so I don't want to go out on a Sunday to go see it. But
that's funny.
Yeah, going down one more drawer. Again, I have a TPMS. The TPMS, I think this is a 2.0. Yeah, 2.0.
Okay.
That one works pretty good. It actually does have the Ferrari brand and Maserati and some other brands in there. That's why I have it for that occasional time. We do use cars, so we'll see Audis, Porsches, stuff like that. Gotcha. I like this little scanner. It's like on the go. I'm pretty sure it's a launch product, just rebranded, but it can do, you know, the basic features on any car, really. I've used it on like even diesels, and it was able to read some stuff, not everything. Yeah. But
So, sorry, I don't mean, do Ferraris have like a DLC? Just like
yeah, we do have a DLC, just like any other car. Now, here's the thing, though. You have to be really careful, and I'm sure some other guys who work on these things will agree, is if you try to reset maintenance lights and stuff like that, if you're not using the right tool, or if this thing glitches at the same time that you're doing the update, or not the update, but the maintenance reset, you can brick the unit on a Ferrari, and it has happened. It's happened here. No. So we really don't try to use these. The most I use this for is to see emissions monitors if they're ready while I'm driving.
Okay.
So that's pretty much the only thing I use this for, because our official scanners are usually being used by somebody. And, and you don't want to be like in there with a $30,000 laptop just like driving. Yeah. So I'll grab this just to like look at the monitors. There are specific aftermarket scanners for these cars. Leonardo is one of them that I can think of off the top of my head. Those are safer to use on these cars, and they have the precautions built into the software, so you don't like brick the unit. Because essentially when you're plugging into the DLC, this becomes another computer on the car. That's how, at least for Ferrari, that's how they look at it. So when you plug this in, it's like having another unit, like a control unit, and so it becomes part of the car. And so that's why you have to be really careful on what you're doing. One more down. This is kind of just like a wired mess of stuff. Some like a voltmeter I don't really use anymore. Not really much to see.
Yeah.
I wish I was more organized, but I do have an Xbox controller.
There you go.
I used to have an Xbox during the wintertime. It can get a little slow here. So some stuff. This is a smoke kit that comes with the Redline smoke machine, which I have in my locker. I'll show you in a bit. So it comes with all the adapters and stuff. Some ratchet straps down for when I'm doing engine work and stuff like that. I think it's the ATF kit. Yeah, so this one has fittings for refilling your ATF on like various makes and models. I use it particularly for my personal truck, which is a Tundra. I have my extensions. Again, some of this is Pittsburgh. No shame in that.
Yeah.
I think this one is gear wrench for my 1/4 inch. And just a whole bunch of miscellaneous stuff, nothing really too organized. We do have a snap-on long 1/4 inch.
Locking, that's cool.
Yeah, so this one I use mostly for the dashboard, getting in there. Sometimes there are units that are held on with the bracket in like the middle. You just barely get in there and take it out.
What are these?
These came with a promo, but pretty much if you have a rounded out fastener, you like...
it's like a hexagon.
Yeah, you like hit it on, and then I think you use this to like get it out.
Huh.
I don't really know. It's like a gimmick. I've never used it. I just have it there in case one day I do use it. This actually comes with some of our new engines. These are pretty much the plugs for when they get shipped, and I just use them for like little containers and stuff.
You mentioned like ordering like an engine. Is parts scarcity a thing with Ferrari?
Yeah, because a lot of the stuff, like the engines are hand built, so you just really have to, if I blew up the engine on this, it would probably take a year before I get an engine, because you gotta wait. There is a process. Pretty much what the factory is making is anything that's current in production. So if you have like a 430 Scuderia and you blew up an engine on that, there only might be 1 or 2 more left somewhere in some warehouse. So that is a thing for sure. If they tell you they can't get a part for you, it really is probably because they don't make it, or it's not made anymore.
That's something you don't think about.
Yeah. Going down. This is obviously just nuts and bolts. This is like my junk drawer pretty much. I mean, I'm sure other people say you just had 2 other junk drawers. I don't know, but that's definitely my junk drawer. More miscellaneous stuff, batteries. This is a current car I'm working on where we sent the wheels out to Porsche. I think this one's a 911. This is I have a Ducati 848, and this is the nut to hold on the front wheel, and I got to replace it because the threads are all effed up. This is pretty much my brake job drawer.
Okay.
This is where, I'm sanding down the pads, or, just the brackets back when I was, with Honda. Windshield wiper, a couple pullers, just anything that really gets dirty gets thrown in here. This is a Ducati rear wheel removal tool, and you can also use it on some vintage Porsches and stuff.
Oh, that's wild.
One big old socket, pretty much. And the last drawer down here is more just kits and stuff. Compression tester, the leak down tester, just oil
Nice.
trans pressure gauge, you know, stuff like that. This is a timing light. You can on the older Ferraris that have distributors, you can use, you know, you got to use timing, especially if we're doing like an emissions test or something. We want to make sure the car's in time with the distributor and stuff. And also, you know, older Hondas too. I used to, you know, sit there with the B series and move. Actually was given to me by my mentor back in the day, so this is probably older than me. You know, kind of a hand-me-down, and it's been working pretty well. So, so the locker's the latest edition. Got it for a steal. About $3,000, which for the gunmetal with the titanium trim, is they go for twice as that. So,
I love that light.
Yeah, so these are the Mac lights. They're like the storage cabinet lights.
I don't see. How do they turn on? Like,
yeah, you got to turn them on. They're motion activated too.
they're motion. Okay.
But sometimes I just leave them on and they'll come on. They're a little gimmicky, but this first drawer. My main jump pack, I still use this a lot actually.
Yeah.
You know, these big old V8s or V12s, they need more than like 2 jump packs. So instead of taking those NOCO ones, I'll just bring this big one out and it'll start it. Just some other miscellaneous stuff, you know, detailing stuff. This is that same ATF dispenser tool that the kit was down there.
Okay.
And then same with this one. This is the smoke machine. I do use it occasionally here. I mean, a lot of our issues right now that I've been seeing are evap issues, especially on, you know, the older style cars. As those rubber start degrading and stuff, you'll see a lot of the you know, evap leaks and stuff. So this helps a lot. It also helps with turbos, you know, trying to diagnose a boost leak or something like that.
I see.
Okay, and then I can't really go down here because it's not really a drawer, but it's a shelf, and I just have essentially my like parts department here. I just have brake fluid, an assortment of aftermarket filters. I do have a cheap Dremel tool, a lot of RTV, very uniform,
Nice.
just in case I get dirty. I do have a locker, but you know, I don't really keep stuff in there.
That's such a cool uniform.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
yeah, that's how they come in the packaging.
I noticed. Are those red back boots?
Yeah, these are my.
Are those your?
These aren't my everyday set. I think this is yeah, actually, this is the newest set I have. What happened is I'm trying to get new soles for them because the stock ones that come in them, they didn't feel right.
Okay.
So I'm waiting on to get a pair of that.
So those are your
yeah, I prefer a red back for sure. For sure. I also currently have, you'll see it later on, I do have a snap-on set, which is I forgot the name of it, but they look identical.
They're probably like a rebrand or
something. They feel okay, but I'm mostly, nowadays I'm wearing the Skechers type shoe. It's more, so the main reason for wearing that is these cars have very close pedals. And if you're wearing big old boots, you gotta really be on a test drive. It's weird to say that. Yeah. So especially the older cars, 308, 328, those pedals are Italian size and super close and in a super weird position.
Really?
You can't really put boots. At least I can't. So I wear the little shoes. And also when I'm running around and walking and coming here and back, it can be pretty hectic. But yeah, my go-to is redback. Going down, I do have a lot of fender covers. And as we keep going, you'll see my collection of fender covers everywhere. This is like a blanket or like another kind of fender cover that my dealer gave me.
Really?
And I just kind of have it there. I don't really want to use it. You know? You want to keep it, you know, one day when I go home, I like to keep some stuff. This is a hex bit set. Again, kind of on the go when I do have to do it and go and look at a car. Some of these are missing because they're in other places, but usually they'll be fully stocked, ready to go. This one I will use a lot because the European brands, you're mostly using Allens, Hexes, Torx, you know, stuff like that. Again, more miscellaneous. You know, a lot of this is the work in progress since I've, you know, moved on to the other work area. So more, some microfibers. You were asking about the rust stuff.
Yeah.
So to use, I have this set that sometimes on the older cars actually do have lug nuts, and you know we can bang these in there.
Oh, nice.
Also like old Nissans and Hondas and stuff like that. This is cool. Since I have a bike, I use this. This is a PBR chain tool to press in the rivet for when you're doing a motorcycle chain.
Oh, okay.
This one's cool because this is my fuel injector kit. Actually, I have this the other way, but if it doesn't all fall out, and it did. That is my only gripe about this, is that they didn't design it that well. But this is the Harbor Freight one. I like it because I like to use my own gauge. I like to know that everything is working right. If you use the shop one, you don't know who was working on it, and sometimes it doesn't work right.
Yeah, that's a sweet box there. Yep. Goodness. And so you said you had another setup?
Yeah, I do have another setup. We'll walk over there in a minute and go check out the other side. Mind the lighting because it's gonna be a bit dark over there.
Okay. This is like the other half of your.
Yeah, this is the main work area over here. This is where you'll probably see me 90% of the time if we're not in the back.
Okay.
Like I said, the lifts here are more suitable for the lower cars and stuff. So yeah, this is where I'm at most of the time. This area we're currently renovating, as you can see. So it's not as pretty as it should be, but it will be soon.
So these in-ground lifts, oh man, do they go all the way up?
These are all in-ground. They're pretty old, but they're still working. I don't know the particular brand. It's not rotary or anything like that. These were actually, they came from Italy from what I was told when the dealership was built back in the 90s. You know, they're actually pretty convenient for our cars. So this is my service cart. But mostly here I have
what is that?
It's an inverter pretty much for when we're doing updates and stuff. So it's providing a good amount of amperage and voltage when we're doing our updates and stuff. 'Cause if you don't have it, you could brick, a unit, and they're not cheap. This is another cart. It's just same kind of deal, just miscellaneous stuff. If I'm gonna be for vacation or I'm gonna be gone, I can move that cart and just put it in there. Yeah.
That's cool.
They come with little drawers. I'm sure I don't really have anything, like microfiber. And that's about it. But, if you need to, some foam for kneeling.
Yeah. The slides, it seems like it slides really well.
They're not too bad. I do prefer my Epic, but, and then this is my actual cart.
I love this color too.
I love the gray. I have a truck, my Tundra is this color, so that's why I really like it. Yeah.
Nice.
Essentially, this is where I have, it's kind of just additional storage. From when I ran out of room in there, I kind of put it in here. First thing that sticks out to me is the pin terminal set from Snap-on. I do have another set that I'll show you in a second. With Ferrari, you do use a lot of electrical diag tools, whether it be to remove pins or leads. That's the day-to-day stuff you're using. Yeah. Feeler gauges, don't use it too many times, but there are some times that we'll use it for, obviously we're doing engine work, but we don't really do too much engine opening here. But when we're doing valve cover reseals, you have to take apart all the timing stuff, components and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Because the cams are on the valve cover. So when we do a valve cover job, it's an engine out and all that.
Wow.
So you can use feeler gauges. I do like how they come with the angled ones. When I was doing V6 Honda work, the angled ones were awesome. The Vim set, it's great for really getting in there, especially with this one. So my day-to-day, I'm using the T15 for doing a pollen filter.
Okay.
On the newer ones like this one or the Roma, just because there's no space at all to get to those bolts. One of which, my fellow Ferrari techs will know, the one in the back is all the way in the back. You can't really, you're going in blind mostly. You don't know what you're doing. But I do like that that's what this was designed for. A couple adjustable pry bars. Nice. This one, of course, is wrapped in tape. So when we're doing spark plugs and stuff, you have to, if the car is really old or it has a lot of miles, those things are on there, those coil. But there's no bolt or anything holding them down. They're kind of just pressed in.
Really? Huh.
So you really have to get in there and just lightly kind of pull up on it.
Okay.
And of course, the beautiful red valve covers, expensive.
Right.
Use these to because there's no real special tool for that. Ferrari just says use best shop practice. I've had great success with that. Obviously here on the sides, you'll see I have microfibers just laying around. I go through these a lot. These are just, I think, Costco or Harbor Freight ones. They get tossed out every once in a while. And these, you'll notice I have tape. So I put tape around these because when you're doing an oil change on these newer ones, the bumper, the rear diffuser has to come off. And it comes off it has these cutouts for the muffler or the exhaust tip, should I say.
Okay.
And you have to put these on so that when you take the bumper off, you're not going to scrape the tips.
Oh,
so I just kind of have it kind of ready to go, taped up
yeah.
already, just in case when I need to do it. And of course, I do have, you know, my K-Tune sticker from my Honda days on that, you know, represent. So going down, this is where I'm using day to day.
Okay.
So this is my trim removal sort of tools here. More cotton swabs. I do have this this little pry, like micro, non-marring piece, but it's great for, again, dash work, because you're going to do a lot of dash work. Going down one, so I got some, I guess you could say some mini wrenches right here.
Yeah, SW.
The snap-on ones I love.
Do you?
Yeah, they get in there really well. For some reason, I guess Snap-on didn't make the flank drive for these, but it is what it is. And then, obviously, from my other box, my main box, I have the ones I took from there, because these are the ones I use my day-to-day, 13, 8, 10.
Gotcha.
There are some 10 mils on Ferraris, believe it or not. It's actually a lot. This is, I believe, E-Torx. We use them occasionally. The suspension, the stuff that holds on control arms and stuff can be Torx. Going down, this is I got this on promo. It was the Mac pliers set. I like it. It feels good. I mean, it's not like the Snap-on set, but I got it for I think it was like 130 or 140 on promo.
I like this tray.
Yeah,
I guess it's nice.
Yeah, I like the tray too, and it just makes it space everything out.
Yeah.
I'm sure as I keep loading stuff on here, eventually trays will start going, but we're gonna go through a lot of picks in my main box. You'll see what I mean. Picks you're gonna use a lot with Ferrari, because you're really, not to pick stuff or anything like that, but you're really just trying to get in there and either move a bolt or take one out. Maybe there's the connectors on some of the electrical stuff. You really get in there, you got to unlatch it, and it's a lot of picks for various uses. These are micro snips, and then this one's just like a plier. And again, when sometimes we're really getting in there, because if you can see, trying to get in this interior, there's almost no space. When you sit in there, you're in there, and you really are just trying to fight the car in so many different ways.
I can imagine.
This is kind of just miscellaneous stuff. I have some, so this one is, I did a aftermarket steering wheel on I think it was a Ferrari California, and the company came with this. So I took it, because they didn't need it, the owner I knew, and he said, yeah, just keep it. So I kept it. So when I'm doing a job on a really special one, sometimes we get really unique cars in here, La Ferrari or Competizione or something. I'll use this to cover the steering wheel, because the car might be here for a while. And, so it's just another layer of protection. So I do have that. Jump pack. I do have a harness for a OBD that I got to redo one of these, because it's not all pinned right. Some trays and hair dryer. Everybody's gonna ask, why the hell do you have a hair dryer just randomly in here? Seat heaters. So when you're doing a seat heater on these, the leather, you can't get it too hot.
Okay.
So when you're trying to take that foam off and you're peeling off that seat heater pad to replace it, using a regular heat gun from Snap-on or something, it's very hot. So you don't want to mess up that leather at all. Hair dryer works because if it was designed to work on a human head, it's not going to get too hot. It gets almost just enough to peel back that pad.
Oh, nice.
I'm sure guys have used the heater gun fine, but I just I like to take it down slow. Honda folks, you already know what that is, Honda Bond.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a dispenser. I think a couple guys have shown this around the Valco grip tool.
That's so nice, because you could just squeeze it while you're going along.
Yeah, you squeeze it and you're going along. And, before that, I used to have pliers, and you would use the pliers or whatever.
Yeah.
I know Mercedes has a sealant they use that comes with the gun and stuff, and we sometimes order some of that, but I stick with what I know. Honda Bond. I've known, I've worked on Hondas, and it never failed me. By the way, I don't use Honda Bond on Ferraris. That's just from another job I did.
Okay.
We have our own sealant. Like I said earlier, I do have my Snap-on boots.
Those say made in USA.
Yeah, it's a little weird. They do look just like the Redbacks, but I believe I got these from when Redback was having like a back order, like they couldn't produce the Redbacks. So when I had to get a replacement, I had to just buy these. But they were pretty comfy. The reason I have these just kind of laying in there is obviously I use my regular work sneakers. But when we start doing heavy work and engine stuff, you know, you got to be careful with your feet.
Oh,
you
sure.
could drop a hammer or something. You know, in my day-to-day, I'm not dropping engines. But the minute I have a very big job, grab my boots because you just don't want to mess up your feet. And then this is a fender cover produced by Ferrari. I keep it in the plastic for when I have those really, really special cars. So these are really big. They cover the whole side of the car.
Really?
For when you're doing like an engine out and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I just keep that kind of wrapped in the plastic.
And so this is the one that's provided?
Yeah, so this is the company provided box. Yeah,
Would you say you prefer your Epic?
Yeah, I definitely prefer my main work box, but it's because I went and built that box the way I wanted it, and you know, it's mine, so of course I'm always going to prefer it. But I'm thankful for the company for providing these. I mean, my dream is one day probably take my big box home and have it there in my home setup. But for now, I'm still using it, so I'll keep it here. Starting from top to bottom, here I have pretty much my blow molded cases. Do have some microfibers over here. We're always going through them. The one thing I did kind of want to show, AES Wave. Like I said, we do a lot of diag here for electrical concerns.
Okay.
So it comes with a whole, so you can pretty much, per whatever car you're working on, if you have the information, you can find like the pinout size for the terminal.
Yeah.
And you can go off of that, and this also works for drag testing the pin. Which with Ferrari you're doing on a very consistent basis. Really? You're doing that all the time. Because something simple like a check engine light can really be caused by having a loose pin or something. This is also kind of what I use day to day. I think this is my power probe, and I do have a video scope attachment for my Maximus scan tool, which I keep over here.
Oh, you got that? Okay.
This I use pretty much for just video scoping, so I don't have to grab the shop one or anything.
Oh, okay.
But
is it pretty good resolution?
Yeah, it's not too bad. But of course, if you need something even better than that, my foreman uses the Top Don video scope.
Okay.
And it's like 4K or whatever rated.
Oh, geez.
I actually got this not too long ago, voltmeter.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Yeah, I was gonna buy obviously the Fluke is the standard, but I got this one pretty cheaply, and I needed something else because I did something pretty foolish. I have the Snap-on one, and I'll show you in a sec. And it was giving me weird readings this one time. And then I used my coworker's Fluke, and it was like, it was a normal reading, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's my meter. I was like, what the So I was like, all right, something's going on. So I just, the same day, the same hour, the Mac rep came. He's like, oh, dude, I got one on sale for you. I was like, all right. Later on, I found out my Snap-on one just had a low battery. I had to change it, and then it was working fine. So I was like, I forgot. So yeah, even I can be a dummy.
Now you have a backup.
Oh yeah, now I have a backup, and you know, if I ever need to confirm readings take something home, you know, I got this thing here. Soldering kit, attachments, spare solder, you know, stuff like that. Of course, I'm sure everybody has a set of these. The rethread kit from Snap-on.
Oh yeah.
We use this a lot too. AC sniffer for, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 YF and 1, 3, 4. So it does the new stuff too.
Nice.
And I've had good luck using it. In addition to that drawer I showed you full of trim tools, I do have another kit that if I have to go on the go for a house call or something, I'll grab this real quick and just take it. Sorry for the noise.
No, you're good.
It's going to get loud. And then last but not least, my vacuum gauge.
Oh, nice.
We do, again, a lot of evap concerns and stuff like that. So this is my first drawer.
Man, you can definitely tell this is what you work out of.
This is where I work out of. So everything here is what I use on my day-to-day. The big sockets, I don't use too often. These are the Snap-on set. This is, I believe, the Mako set, which is one of the first sets I bought 10 years ago, and I still use it. Yeah. Nice. So you'll see I have two oil filter sockets. These are for all newer style Ferraris, so it's my go-to. I just grab this, and as you can see, I kind of vaguely wrote 488 on there. TPMS, or not TPMS, but when I'm doing tires, you know, just air out the tires. So I got that little kit there.
So you guys have all the equipment to service like these wheels, like carbon fiber and stuff? Okay.
Yeah, we have everything. We have a tire machine that can do it. The tire machine isn't too much different. It's a Corgi.
Oh.
And you know, I like it more because it's more manual. The auto stuff I've worked with, where the tire you just put it in, it does it itself.
It's scary.
It's cool, but we have to like really be careful. So
Nice.
we do everything.
Right on.
These are wheel sockets. The 22 is pretty much what you use on Ferrari. For the other style, there are 2 types of lug nuts. There are the ones that are actual like bolts, which are these, and then but another type of bolt that is a big hex. So
okay.
2 types, that's what I use all the time. These are the Vim spark plug set. I like it a lot. We use the 16 pretty often.
Okay. That's a Ferrari size?
Yeah, 16? The 16 is the Ferrari size. This is the 1/4 inch shallow snap-on set.
It looks like a lot of these are snap-on, huh?
They're pretty much all snap-on. I use the mids a lot. It's
Yeah.
just about the right length for a lot of the stuff I do, whether it be inside an engine or doing dash work or anything like that. And then, of course, I start going to like hexes and stuff. So these are the Allens from Snap-on that I use pretty much daily.
Oh, those are like super shallow.
Yeah, and then these are the super shallow ones. Again, if I need something just the right size, because I also have here the this is the Matco version of the Vim set.
Okay.
And these are even more shallow.
Man, those are tiny.
But so I have various lanes for a lot of different things, and then I do again have an Icon ball swivel to get just to the right angle of a lot of things. And it works pretty well.
Does it?
You know, Harbor Freight in general I think they're stepping up their game.
I think so, yeah.
In my opinion. Now, time will tell how long things last and break and stuff like that. But
yeah.
I think for people to get in this industry, something like Icon has to exist.
Sure.
And then I do have a Vim. I guess it's a ball swivel set from
That's
Vim.
cool.
Yeah.
I've never seen a swivel.
Yeah, it's like a
hex.
universal joint on a hex.
Interesting.
And we use this for a lot of, stuff, again, dash work, to get into like really specific areas. The extra deep socket set for pretty much for like splash shields and stuff like that. Instead of putting the extension and then the socket, we just grab one of these. And then, of course, I also have another shallow torque set here. This is the Mac. So these 2 sets are the Mac RBT stuff.
Okay.
Which is, it's there to grab that the fastener in a way. And, when you round out stuff, it helps out. The only thing is, it kind of works like the Snap-on flank drive where the little teeth will bite into the nut. It might mar the surface. And when you're working on something like this, we do have to care. It's like, Jerry, it goes back in fine. It's like, yeah, but when we have engine compartment bolts, if you use something like this, it's going to mar it. It's going to change the paint on it. And you're going to have to replace the bolt. But it does get it out. Or if you're working on a regular car, it works fine. Same with this set. So this is the Mac Allen set, which, again, it's Allen, but it looks like a Torx. But it is an Allen set. Huh. And then here, obviously, I use the tray for all my day-to-day stuff, too. So I have like a 12 here for Allen, this for oil changes and stuff. And then universal joint for... It's just, I use a tray just, to grab what I use most commonly. It's a 17 millimeter carbon fiber wheel socket here.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And then I have this is my day-to-day.
That's your go-to, huh?
Yeah, this is my go-to. It's
That's
the Matco.
cool.
I think it's the 88 tooth or something like that. I'm using it it's probably like 10 years old.
Oh, man. I love how thin these are.
Yeah, that's the thing. So they're very thin compared to the Snap-on one. When you're working on Ferrari, that much of a difference is a difference. This is my torque wrench. 3/8 is what we use on our day-to-day.
Nice.
So I've had this for a while now. It's probably due for a calibration pretty soon. What's cool is here at my shop, we have a Snap-on. It measures like the torque on our torque wrenches because we have to do that. Same like the aircraft guys do, I guess.
So it's kind of like just making sure that it's...
Just making sure. So right before I do, like maybe this one I use mostly for like oil changes and stuff. But we do check right before we're doing like engine work or something. I'll check it, make sure it's in spec. And then I do have this Titan.
Look at that.
It's super small, but what I like is you can like twist it. And then you can use it like a screwdriver.
That's cool.
And it's one of my go-tos, so that's why it's there. This is my other drawer. This is my wrench drawer pretty much, and the rest of my ratchets.
Okay.
Starting down here, this is my Matco 12-point set.
I like it has that flex head.
Yeah, it's the flex. It's a little too long, so I have it kind of like folded. But it's my go-to, and it's the stuff I use every day. Again, here is the 11 millimeter bleeder that I use specifically to bleed the Ferraris. And then down here, I have the snap-on big wrench set. We're somewhat big. I'm sure the diesel guys will say that's not big at all. But 24 through like 21.
Okay.
Go down here, 1/4 inch. This is definitely my go-to. I don't prefer green. It's just what I bought it in.
Yeah.
And then here we're going for more of the gun bevel.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the snap-on 1/4 inch ratchet, which it just feels right, you know?
Yeah, it feels good.
This one I used, I like how it has the quick release. So sometimes, because you know how when you buy a brand new ratchet, you have a brand new socket, they're like really stuck on it. So I like how like this one, as soon as you press it, even if it's brand new, it'll come right off.
Awesome. Especially like if your hands are just a little bit oily,
exactly,
and you're like trying to get it off.
It keeps slipping off, and you know I hate that too. And then here I have.
I like that.
I like it a lot, and it's unfortunate though that paint will probably start. It's kind of already chipping, but yeah.
I love the hard handles.
They're awesome, man. But again, it does have that thick head, which is why I use, like, again, for another comparison, that much of a difference is huge.
That's like 2 millimeters.
When you're in like a confined area.
Yeah.
And then I do have the flank drive set here for the wrenches. And again, here tucked in is an 11 millimeter, 10 millimeter off that same set that I was showing earlier for the ultra thin ones.
Oh, okay.
For bleeding brakes and stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
On certain models. Yeah, I like how they come in the foam. I mean, I got
clean.
this set when the foam just started coming out.
Oh man.
So then slowly started getting addicted to the foam. This is a Matco.
Okay.
It started life as a 1/4 inch like this one.
Okay.
But I switched the anvil to a 3/8.
Oh man.
So I can really get in there and use a 3/8 socket to break loose various types of things.
Because I see Snap-on ones do it all the time. I didn't know that Matco could do it too.
Yeah, you can swap them out. Here are a lot of my Snap-on 1/4 inch. So I have like the quick release. I have another quick release, but you can move the head on this one.
Oh yeah.
And then I have the grip version, but there are no locks on this.
Okay.
Same kind of set here. These don't lock, but they are they do have a joint here. And this really long one, again, to break loose a lot of things helps, because I think this is my longest 3/8 I have.
Okay. So do you guys do like alignments on these?
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
okay.
it's they're time consuming to set up everything, but just over here if you want to see real quick. These are the kind of shims that we use.
Oh, this is a Hawkeye right here. Okay.
Yeah, so we use the shims. So this will slide in between the bolts for the control arm, and then it'll kind of push the control arm out or in.
Okay.
And as you know, we were just talking about alignments. This is what I use to break loose some of those control arm bolts.
Nice.
This is the 1/2 inch Matco. Of course, we go down to these torque wrench for the 1/2 inch. I use this not too often. This is mostly, I save this for really delicate stuff when I'm doing engine work or transmission stuff.
Oh, okay.
When I was working with Honda, I used this to torque down the heads when I was doing the piston ring recalls and Odyssey V6s and stuff.
Yeah.
And then this one I use daily is the 1/2 inch click type.
Yeah.
So for wheels or when you're doing like suspension or brakes, use the 1/2 inch beam type. I have essentially just what I use again on my day-to-day. A lot of trim work, panel poppers and stuff like that. This is a rivet tool for license plate brackets. So as you can see on this car, no license plate bracket.
Oh yeah.
We literally have to drill in the bumper.
What?
On $1 million car. Or in this case,
no.
it's a couple $100,000. But we do it delicately. We tape everything off, and then the final step is to rivet the plate bracket to the car. And actually, I can kind of show you that.
Are they like plastic rivets?
No, they're metal ones.
Metal.
Actually, I think I have right here, and I'll do it on this car later since I got to finish it. But essentially, that will go in there, and then we'll line it up, and then we'll press it in, and we'll drill it beforehand.
That's got to be nerve-wracking too.
It was my first one I did on an 812 Competizione, which is like a $2 million special edition of the 812.
Oh my gosh.
And I was a little nervous, and I went over to my foreman, and he was like, dude, you'll be all right. You're overthinking it. And, I taped everything off. I used my tape measure to make sure everything was even.
Nice.
And I got it done. And,
that's cool.
Yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking. Here are my, snap ring pliers for, various types of snap rings. This is a Honda tool It has a Honda part number, and it's a panel, pretty much a panel popper for those body clips.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can use this end for the bigger clips.
Oh, yeah.
I do have, I don't even know what they're called. I just found them one day on a, like, I think it was like Harbor Freight or something, but it reminded me of like when you're doing surgery. They're pretty much, they're like latching pliers, essentially,
yeah.
when I'm doing an oil change. Since the oil filter sits upright, when you take it out, it spills a little bit into the valley on these cars. So what I'll do is I'll grab, maybe not this rag, but a rag, and then just kind of stuff it in there, soak up, and then clean up. And, you know, it's all about cleanliness. So my day-to-day pliers, 90-degree plier set. Yeah, from, I think this is Matco, but it's probably Nipex. This is a wire stripper that I use pretty much every day. I believe one of these are the TikTok ones where they can hold the penny or whatever.
Yeah, I think that they're just different sizes.
Yeah, so I have like 2 of these. These are great for cutting a lot of stuff. What I use it for really is like flush cutting zip ties and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
We do use zip ties, believe it or not. Not in a hack way, but we do use it for like wire harness management and stuff.
Okay.
Even the factory does like that. Saves weight, I guess. And then just a pair of snips, dikes, I guess.
What's this thing?
So this one is to hold up the rear latch, or not the rear latch, the rear lid. Sometimes when you're servicing it and you got to take off the tray. Actually, I could probably show it to you.
Okay.
So when you're servicing these, sometimes if you want to take this whole thing off, this trim, to check, you know, oil or whatever, you don't have to, but if you're checking something in general, you're taking this panel off, you have to remove the strut. And then, yeah, so you got to hold it up.
Gotcha.
So this helps out pretty well. And then I have my pry bar set. What I like about Snap-on is they give you the rubber. So when you're on something delicate, you're not going to mar it. You know?
Yeah.
And with Ferrari, you need to keep up appearances.
Yeah.
And make sure that you don't mess anything up, because 30 or 20 years from now, the way I was explained, they might have like a car show and people look at that, you know.
Sure,
and
yeah.
if it's been worked on a whole bunch of times, you know, you can start seeing the witness marks and stuff. This is where I keep most of my my guns and cordless tools. As you can see, it's a lot of it is Snap-on. When I started out, I think this was one of my first ones. You know, I wasn't into Milwaukee, and now at home, everything is Milwaukee.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, I mostly just bought it because I didn't want to swap all my batteries. And this is only some of my batteries. I have more at home and stuff. So, just kind of kept with the brand for, you know, loyalty, I guess, even though Milwaukee makes some really good stuff. These 2 are for interior, so I keep them really clean and kind of like out of the way.
Oh, yeah.
This is a screwdriver.
What?
So pretty much, it's a bigger screwdriver. I have a smaller one, but put the bit here, and if you have like a long bit or something, you can use it, and you know, it's really cool. I've used it a few times.
That comes in handy, I guess.
Yeah, it comes in handy. It's a weird little thing, but I got it on promo. So torch for when you're doing like harness repair and you need the shrink tubing. Yeah. That helps out a lot.
You know, you say these are like the clean ones, but like everything looks so clean.
Yeah, everything is pretty clean, but like, you know, I consider that dirty.
Okay.
Because, you know, even the stuff that does get dirty, I need to clean it for the next car, you know.
Gotcha,
so, and then this one just got sent out. That's why it looks pretty new. But yeah, keep going down. We went through this first drawer. I'm gonna sit and make myself comfortable.
I'll do it.
So this is my extension drawers where I keep, you know, 1/2 inch, 3/8, 1/4 inch. It's my day-to-day stuff. That's why I don't have a whole bunch of them. As you saw, my other drawer is full too. And then I do have these open-end, I guess crow's foot you can call them. Yeah. Cool. And here's the actual cordless screwdriver I use.
Oh, that's cool.
This is a Mac one. And it's cool. It uses like a USB to charge.
Look at that.
And it comes in handy again for a lot of that interior work that
that's
we are
perfect.
doing.
Like that's what I could see this one being a little bit too strong sometimes. Yeah. But that one's like,
Yeah, that one's pretty nice. This is a kind of like a weird extension I got a couple years ago. It's basically 2 universal joints on an extension. Okay. For those weird to get to areas. Think about, I've had to do like this specific kind of layout before to get to a bolt.
Wow.
You know, you're not going to do that with a whole bunch of extensions, but it came in handy and it knocked it loose. It was like for a door panel I was taking off.
That's awesome.
To lightly touch on this is my micro screwdriver set. I use it to replace key fob batteries or like any kind of specific stuff, you know, that my other kit can't get to or what have you. So right here we just have my regular screwdriver set. I mean, obviously it's the Snap-on one. This one has picks in the set too.
Okay.
It's great to go. And then these are for the like coolant hoses. They're not really marring. They're not really picks, so you're not gonna really cut anything. And then these are like mini pry bars that Mako makes.
Nice. That's cool.
For a lot of different things. These are for seals to get them out, or O-rings. You know,
cool.
A lot of different things. Going down. T-handles for metric Allens and stuff. So. You know, and then I have my 6-piece magnetic spark plug set, which I'm sure a lot of people have.
Nice.
And then I have some scrapers from Mac, and then my chisels from Snap-on.
Oh, those are nice.
Nice those are the ones that I use a lot, even though they don't look like it, but I do use it pretty heavily. These are windshield wiper tool, and then this is to hold those struts I was just showing. Sometimes if they're weak, we'll use this to hold it, and then we'll replace it after.
Oh, gotcha.
Sometimes they mar the shock.
Gotcha.
And then one down, pretty much just kind of like where I do like dirty stuff, whether it be brakes or I'm cleaning a wheel hub or drilling, you know. This is the Hyper bit, which I like a lot.
Oh, okay,
It eats through metal, you know. It's an awesome kit.
I like how you put these in that.
Yeah, it's a foam I got off of maybe like a part that I got one time, and it came with like this kind of foam. And I just used it. Yeah, I mean it beats trying to.
So nice.
Yeah, instead of having them laying, I used to just have them laying in there, and then you pick them up one. Yeah, it's just not good. You know, hanging calipers. I use this. Then a whole bunch of vice scripts that I use occasionally. And then this kit is a oil filter for like those off-brand cars that I use. One more down. It's pretty empty here, but again, more picks. So use that for, you know, coolant and stuff and oil lines. And then these are finger ratchets, which are really nice because they, you know, they get into those like weird positions. But you definitely need these if you're gonna work on exotics.
Yeah.
It's a whole bunch of weird stuff. This is like a T-handle tap tool. You can use that to grab your tap. One over here. Just pretty much some, you know, 3M tape, axle nut, socket set, or, you know, just 12-point deep big set. And then this one is also, this is my tap set. This is the one I use when the Snap-on kit didn't re-chase it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
nice.
It's nice, does the job, has everything laid out.
Awesome.
I like it. Up here, more picks, and then these are, I guess, panel poppers, you can say. But I've used it for other stuff.
Yeah.
This is a Mac torque wrench. It's a 1/4 inch. It's really specific, and it's really accurate. And I go down to like 9 Newton meters sometimes on like oil pipes and stuff.
Oh my goodness.
And we have to make sure those are tight. So we use this for that. This is a deburring set for when I drill into a bumper. I can use this to like clean it up and make sure that the shavings and stuff. These are like precision tweezers we use.
Oh, really? That's like a whole set.
Yeah,
like
it's a nice set. We use those for a whole bunch of stuff. And then this is a Volvo oil cap or like oil filter tool.
Okay.
This works on older Ferraris.
Oh, okay.
It just happens to fit. So 430, 360, I believe. This is my diag, like electrical stuff. These are shrink tubing, breakout box for CAN. I believe that's a like a digital caliper for measuring stuff. Parasitic draw tool or leads, wire strippers, soldering. These are some ears just to listen to stuff.
Yeah. Do you have to do much like bus type of diagnostics?
This is like every day to day.
Really?
Where I'm using this. I'm using my leads from that test kit, and I'm using, I'm testing. That's day to day. And if it's not day to day, it's every other day. Because pretty much, I enjoy that kind of stuff for some reason, so it kind of makes its way to me.
That's cool.
Like I said, this is the one that didn't have the battery.
Oh, that's the.
Yeah, so it's nice. You can hook it up with your phone and have like a display on your phone.
That's color too. That's cool.
It's nice. And then I have the really long test lead. This is a Mako one.
Nice.
Nice. It's more messy because it's actually what I do every day. And then I believe that's it. These are just the same
those are the extensions, right?
And then this is where a trash bin usually goes.
Okay.
So, and then up here is my work area. I do have like a tire inflator for if we have something out on the lot. you know, and we can air it up real quick. My charger, my is a Streamlight.
Is that your go-to?
This is my go-to light.
Okay.
It's the one I use. Alexa for the music and stuff.
Nice.
Then these bits are my extra deep or long, you can say, bits for either Allen or Torx.
Nice.
And then these are all just go-to miscellaneous sockets.
We got a bunch of lights up here.
Bunch of lights up there. This one is motion activated, so
What?
I'm sure, I know a lot of people were like, what the heck is this? I got it off my Matco dealer, and I'll turn it on, and then if I walk away for like, I have it for like 15 minutes, but if I walk away for 15 minutes or so, it'll turn off automatically. These are the snap-on, the head or the neck light or whatever.
Oh, right.
Really nice.
Nice.
Yeah. This is like a Braun from Harbor Freight light.
Okay.
You know, cheap. Same with these little ones. And then this is the Stryon switchblade, I guess is what you call it. But I like it a lot. It's pretty bright. And then my last light here is like another, this is a Harbor Freight one. And I like it is you can switch the heads on it.
What?
And you can just use it.
Oh, that's
And then,
cool.
yeah. Yeah, it's weird.
Huh.
Yeah, so we do use Harbor Freight people, okay? That's what you'll catch. You want to see a Ferrari tech in the wild, we're over there.
You have such a cool job. It's such a cool setup. That's so
It's
awesome.
all right. There are definitely days where you're like, man, I got to do this. But it's something different than when working on Hondas all day. And, you know, it's just a different, it's weird. You know, I always thought, you know, one day I was like, one day I'll work for them. And, you know, but I never thought it'd happen that soon.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
well, Jerry, thank you so much
problem.
for
Thanks
having
for
me
coming
out. This is seriously so
Appreciate it.
so cool. Gosh, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have a toolbox that you'd like to have featured on the channel, hit me up. Until the next one, we'll see you.